Stand that I'm really excited about trying in order to film videos of me crafting. So I'm gonna try my best, but what I've learned is that you can see, like I'm doing this through the camera. I can't really see my hands, so it's kind of an interesting thing. So you can do a granny square in two ways. The first way is by making a slip knot like I just did, doop, doop, doop. And then you chain 4-ish. Wow, that is challenging. Hey, at least you get to see the way it looks when you're doing it. That's kind of neat. 4, oops. The depth perception is something else, let me just tell you. Okay, there we go. Okay, and then you close this by, I'm gonna have to like lean over, going in to, I like to go into the back loop, it really doesn't fucking matter. But you go into the back, slip through, and then you have like a little hole to work in. So that's option one. Either way, you're gonna do work into this little hole. So you're either gonna chain 2 here. Now this way is nice because you don't have to make a magic ring. Magic ring is pain in the butt, but once you get it, and it's nicer because then you don't have to, like, it tightens better and there's not this like weird hole in the center that you have to like kind of sew up. So this is option one. I'll show you option 2 in a second. But essentially you go through and you make 3 clusters. You make a cluster of 3 double crochets. So there's 1, the chain 2 that I did at first, 2, 3, and then you chain 1, and then you yarn over, insert, yarn over, boop, 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 another double crochet, hello, another double crochet, and you do the same thing this time again, making 3 clusters or 3 double crochets in a cluster, and that like traditionally is called a granny stitch. So 3 double crochets together is called a granny stitch or a granny cluster. So now you can see we have our first, the bottom, a corner, a side. So we're going to do another chain. Now some people like to do 2 chains here. I like 1 because I feel like it doesn't need the second, but it also depends on the yarn you're using and the hook size you're using. It really is totally up to you what you prefer, but I just like the spacing better when I don't have, oops, okay, so again I have 2 here, so I'm doing 1 more. Okay, and now we have our 2 sides, our bottom, 2 corners, and do a chain for our next corner, and then now you might have noticed that I've been kind of crocheting over my tail. I like to do that for 2 reasons. The first reason is it weaves in my ends without me having to do that myself. And then the second reason is because I can then use that to pull this hole tighter. And I'll show you that in a second. So this is my last double crochet of this round. And then I just chain 1 and slip stitch into the second, chain 2. So I'm gonna have to, look around the camera because I can't aim through the camera. So I want to get both loopies for slip stitch, which I am failing to do, and this isn't even focused. You can't even see that. Hello, focus. So right now I'm kind of in more than the 2 loops. I just want these 2 loops. Hello. Hello. There we go. And I yarn over and pull through. Oh, I got some extra yarn going on there, so I'm just gonna drop that. Hopefully that'll go back where it belongs. And then I yarned over one more time. So now you have the inside of your granny square. If you're like, I want to learn how to change yarn, I'm going to show you how to do that now. So I'm going to take my scissors, just hold please, scissors, and I'm going to leave a little tail, not very long, and cut that off. And then I'm going to take my tail and tie through like you're tying off. And then what I like to do to secure this better, because now I have a little lump, so I take it in through here. Okay, and then I kind of pull through, and then I weave in the end until it's in the corner. Okay, so now I have that in the corner, and I have my first round of my granny square. Now this tail is the tail. See how that has a hole here? You can tighten that up by pulling on this tail, and that'll close it. It's almost like a little booty hole. And you go in and weave in the ends a little bit more. I, again, try to do this as I go, because otherwise you have a ton of ends at the end, and that's annoying. And the more you weave them in, the stronger your crochet is going to be. I'm going to go ahead and weave in those ends. So now I have a little square. It's not perfect, but she's mine. So I've got 4 corners, one here, one here. Oh, that's why it's not perfect. And here's the other corner. So right now this is the corner that we closed off on, and you can't even tell anymore. But we can also weave this up through to the top so that it gets crocheted over. Oh my gosh, this is already 7 minutes. Can you tell I'm not that skilled? All right, now I'm going to show you the magic ring method. This time I'm just going to do the magic ring. Hello, crochet through here. Go through here, please. There we go. There it is, a square. So that's the first round. All right, so that's the magic. This is the method with the chain 4. I'm gonna grab this pink yarn from over here and show you the magic ring method. So a magic ring, there are lots of different ways to tie them. I tie mine in, I would probably assume what most people would call the wrong way. But I'm going to show you how I do that. So I start like I'm going to do a slip knot. So I have this slip knot here, loosey-goosey. Then I take it, so this is a slip knot. If I tightened it, it would tie like normal. See? But I need it loose for making a magic ring. So I have my loose slip knot, and I take my working yarn and I pull it through to kind of create a slip knot on top of my existing slip knot. So now I have my magic ring. So if I tighten my yarn on here, I have this part. If I pull on that, it'll tighten the ring, and that's what makes it magic. So just like before, I'm going to be working in the hole. The hole is bigger this time, but I'm still gonna do the chain 2 for my first double crochet, and then I do 2 double crochets. So there's one. Oops, try not to get you a little. So notice that I'm working over this pull string because that is ultimately what's going to make my thing close well. So now I have my first cluster, and I'm going to do a chain 1. Now it's going to look different with the magic circle or the magic ring, whatever you want to call it. And that's because now it's looser. So I'm going to work my second cluster now. So now I have, you can see the corner, the side, and the side. Chain 1. Again, we're gonna work another. Hello. This is some camera difficulty for me. There we go. It's getting too tight for my liking. I believe this is my third double crochet, and I can, if you forget to count, you can double check. So if you just pull it apart, you have your chain here, and then you have 1, 2, 3. Now I like the granny squares a lot because I can just count the legs. I don't have to go to the top and count like the stitches, 1, 2, 3, but I could. Like if you're like, I don't get that, you can absolutely do that. And now you can see, again, I have my side, my bottom, my side, and now I just have to do my top. So I chain 1, 2, 3 double crochets. And then this is my third. Okay, now you can see I've got my other cluster corner, but it doesn't look like a square. So to make it look like a square, I pull this tight. So now I've got that nice and tight. Did I do my chain 1? Nope, because I still have 2 things here. So I can chain 1. And then I want to find the top of my chain 2 here. Like I did before. To try to show you better. I just want the top of the chain 2. Hello. Whatever. Sometimes I'm lazy and I just do that, and it doesn't really matter because this will then act like that chain. And it's not like you're working in the chains. And then I have my other square. Cut this off. And I go ahead and pull this through. Now it's nice and tight. Or this knot is tight. And now to make this tight, I again pull. And just like we did with the other one, I can weave through here to secure my ends. I just take my hook and I go through, oops, some of the insides to do that. And then I just kind of tidy it up. And then again, I have this end that I want to weave in. So I'm going to pull in through here. And I just like to make sure that I don't mess up any patterns. So if you look at the chain, if I pull this across here, that'll be fine. It won't change the look at all. So if I do that, that kind of leaves like a little line. So in order to avoid that, I just go up through underneath that. And I pull it through. Like that. Now, some people like to then like keep weaving this in more. They like to bring it through the like stalks of the chains. I am, again, lazy, so I don't do that. All I'm going to do is bring this up through here, but then see it did that, so I'm going to undo. I'm going to go through the stalk just so I can get that up without leaving a weird line. Although, just realized that moved out of your sight. So now I have my ends on the outside, and when I go through them, I can crochet over them, but you can see that I have a similar square. Same concept, two different methods. This one's a little looser, but that's also partially the yarn I'm using. So now I'm going to show you how you can add the next round. Maybe not. This is 17 minutes. Oh my goodness.